Hey, before we dive in, please take a quick moment to support this podcast. Hit subscribe, like this episode, share it with someone who might need it, and drop a comment with what resonates for you. Your engagement really helps this podcast grow and reach more listeners. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Now let's go. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephanie Jacobs, equipping us and our relationships to keep moving forward. So come and journey with me, and along the way, stick these tools in your back pocket. Have you ever felt fine on the outside, but stuck on the inside? If so, you just might be emotionally bypassing, and it's more common than you think. Emotional bypassing is a psychological defense and coping pattern in which, instead of directly feeling and working through difficult emotions, we take an indirect detour around them through behaviors like rationalization, distraction, overfunctioning, or even positive sounding practices like productivity, mindset work, meditation, or spirituality. Rather than staying with discomfort, such as sadness, anger, fear, or shame, we quickly shift into strategies that help us not feel, like analyzing, fixing, minimizing, immersing ourselves in work, or insisting on staying positive. These patterns often begin as survival strategies in childhood, especially in environments where emotions are dismissed, criticized, or simply too much for caregivers to handle. And over time, they harden into an automatic adult default setting where the nervous system reflexively tries to escape discomfort. While emotional bypassing can look mature, composed, or even spiritually evolved from the outside, it quietly blocks genuine healing and growth because the unprocessed feelings remain unresolved. Real change requires gently retraining the nervous system to stay present with difficult emotions in tolerable doses so we can move through the pain, integrate what it's signaling, and show up more authentically in our lives and relationships. Many people learn to emotionally bypass through an invisible wound, not overt abuse, but what did not happen. For example, caregivers failing to notice, name, or respond to a child's emotional needs. When dismissed feelings like sadness or anger are met with phrases like, stop crying, or you're too sensitive, or when affection is expressed by conditional love, shown only when a person is good or quiet, the nervous system links emotional expression with rejection, shame, or loss of connection. Over time, that child adapts by disconnecting from their inner world, going numb, if you will, or overfunctioning, becoming hyperrational, people pleasing, or hiding messy feelings to avoid conflict or burdening others, which often gets praised as hyper independence or a pseudo maturity. Children who cannot rely on parents for comfort learn to take care of things themselves because no one else is coming, and they absorb what they see modeled. Caregivers who cope by staying busy, joking, intellectualizing, or spiritualizing everything. Eventually, these protective strategies become automatic. The moment a hard feeling surfaces, the mind and body reflexively reach for distraction, productivity, problem solving, or positivity, creating an internal wall where emotions like grief or anger remain present but blocked off, often leading to numbness, disconnection, and a quiet sense of unworthiness in adulthood. Emotional bypassing often masquerades as maturity, resilience, or productivity, making it hard to spot, especially in high achieving professional environments. Instead of honestly feeling our emotions, we shift into intellectualization and mental detachment, analyzing and explaining our situations and thoughts rather than experiencing them in our bodies. It can appear as toxic positivity, leaning on phrases like, everything happens for a reason, just be grateful, or good vibes only, to smooth over real grief, anger, or disappointment that needs space and acknowledgement. For some, it's spiritual bypassing, using meditation, mindset work, or spiritual language to rise above so called low vibration emotions. Staying too blessed to be stressed detaches you from pain instead of helping you process it. In the workplace, compulsive busyness and constant problem solving are rewarded, throwing yourself into tasks, projects, or helping others so you never slow down enough to notice what hurts. Minimization is subtler still, telling yourself, well, others have it worse, or it's not that big of a deal, or even the I'm fine syndrome that dismisses pain to appear strong. These tactics help you move and look okay, but they function as a quiet escape hatch from emotional reality, eroding authenticity, well being, and relational trust over time. But emotional bypassing carries real costs, both internally and in relationships, despite feeling like an immediate solution. It's a soft snare that perpetuates the very pain we seek to avoid. Habitually moving around feelings blunts self awareness, making it harder to identify what you truly want, need, or value. This can fuel misaligned career choices, chronic dissatisfaction, and a persistent stuck feeling, regardless of how polished life looks on the outside. Unprocessed emotions often manifest as anxiety, depression, irritability, burnout, and stress, or physical somatic symptoms like chronic tension, digestive issues, headaches, sleep problems, and lowered immunity. Without the muscle of emotional tolerance, your capacity to handle pressure remains fragile. Over time, this creates a deep internal disconnection. You may appear high performing to others while feeling flat, numb, creatively blocked, or like an imposter within. Relationally, bypassing keeps connections shallow. We engage through problem solving or performative positivity rather than vulnerability. This leaves others feeling invalidated and allows unspoken hurt to sour into passive aggressiveness, explosive outbursts, distance, or resentment that undermines trust. Unprocessed material often repeats, drawing us into dynamics where we overfunction and our needs stay sidelined. If emotional bypassing feels deeply entrenched, consider professional support from a therapist to unpack childhood roots and rewire patterns at a nervous system and attachment based level. Otherwise, you can start to develop or strengthen emotional processing with some pretty straightforward steps. For example, pause to notice and name what you feel, like I'm noticing anxiety, and then locate it in your body, a tight chest or heavy stomach, and then validate it with a phrase that sounds something like, well, it makes sense that I feel this right now in light of what I've experienced. Try countering bypassing beliefs like, I'm weak if I cry, through gentle reframing. Stay present in small doses with mindfulness and acceptance. Then express your feelings via journaling, movement, crying, or sharing vulnerably with a safe person. Grounding techniques are powerful, immediate tools to interrupt emotional bypassing by anchoring you in the present moment, helping your nervous system shift from avoidance or numbing back to a state where you can safely feel and process your emotions. Here are specific, actionable examples you can use anywhere. Try practicing one daily, even when calm, to develop the habit. You can try the 5-4-3-2-1 sensory grounding practice. Here, you name out loud or in your head 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This engages all of your senses to pull you out of mental detachment. You can also try the butterfly hug. In this exercise, cross your arms over your chest and alternately tap your shoulders right, left, right at a steady pace, like a heartbeat, while breathing deeply to soothe the nervous system somatically without words. You can also try humming and feel the vibration in your body. This stimulates the vagus nerve, releasing tension and inviting presence. Finally, try pressing your feet firmly into the ground, noticing the pressure, the texture of your shoes or socks, and connection to the earth beneath. And then say internally, I am here, safe and supported. This combats hyper-independence by rooting you physically. So, what if the emotions you've been bypassing hold the key to the freedom you've been chasing? How about this week you take a moment and try this? When you next feel the urge to analyze, fix, or stay positive, pause. Notice what's stirring underneath. Your nervous system is ready to learn a new way. So here's to moving through, not around, what you really feel.